Yo, what's going on, guys? Chase the Bro here, and welcome back to another Dark Souls 3 build video. Today I'm going to be showcasing my Gladiator build. Now, I know a lot of you have been requesting some PvP with the Valor Heart, so I thought I'd go ahead and make a build centered completely around this weapon. And what better way to do that than to try to create a character that looks identical to a Gladiator. I did the best that I could with the armor that I have, and I think I ended up with a pretty decent looking Gladiator build. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let's get right into this. The first thing I'm going to let you guys know about the Valor Heart is that it fights similar to a straight sword, although I think the range is a little bit worse. The initial R1 is almost the same, although it swings on a crooked axis. It's not horizontal like a regular straight sword. And the follow-up attack is with the shield. Now, there are good things and bad things to this. If you're fighting someone who is using a straight sword or a light weapon against you, you're going to power through their attack with the shield, and you're going to take minimal damage and trade with them and do much more damage than they do to you. The only drawback being that it does take some of your stamina as if you were blocking with a shield. Because of this, I don't recommend trying to use it to trade with an ultra great sword or a curved great sword, because they are going to take a huge chunk of your stamina, and most of the time you're going to be de-shielded and they're going to repost you. So try not to get caught light attacking against someone using an ultra great sword. Other than that, they'll go ahead and use that to your advantage. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is this thing has a weapon art very similar to the way the light attack works. You hold up your shield in a stance, and you're able to power through a lot of your opponent's attacks. Now, you're able to use this one against ultra great swords if you manage to do the light attack. You kind of use a spear thrust attack with your sword, and you're going to power through most things because you have your shield in hand, taking minimal damage. Now, the weapon art's heavy attack is the shield bash you just saw me unleash, where it has a lion roar and it kind of off balances your opponent, and you're able to follow up that hit with a light attack. This comes in handy when your opponent is being relentless with their light attacks and you kind of just want to power through. It's a good trading attack, so I definitely recommend you use it as a trade. Don't try to open attacks with it because it's pretty easy to dodge, but if your opponent is spamming, then it is easy for you to be able to counter them with that weapon art. The running R2 is also another attack where you can power through your opponent's attacks and trade and get minimal damage while putting out more damage than you receive. You kind of jump in a lunging attack while holding your shield in front of you, giving you extra absorption and allowing you to power through your opponent's attacks. Overall, I'd say this weapon is best suited for a vitality build or a quality build. It has the highest damage output with a quality build, and when you have a high vitality build, you're able to have a higher absorption, which is great because this weapon kind of relies on taking little bits of damage as you attack, because you are trading a lot of the time, and the shield does not have 100% block. Sadly, that would probably make this weapon a little bit too overpowered, but you do take damage as you attack with all the attacks that I've mentioned. So having a decent absorption is definitely needed. I'm also going to recommend that you have as much stamina as you possibly can, because when you are trading with the light attack and your opponent does hit you, it takes a pretty big chunk of stamina, so having as much as you possibly can is definitely recommended. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself being reposted quite a lot, and you're often going to run out of stamina when you're trying to do your combos. So I definitely recommend having 35 stamina with the Prisoner's Chain or 40 stamina in general. This weapon kind of requires it. But yeah, guys, I'm going to take you on over the stats now. I've said all that I can about this weapon. Alright guys, let's jump right into the stat layout. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, it is a standard quality build, although it might look a little bit different. I got the strength and dexterity to their soft caps, which is 40, and the weapon itself scales best with both of those, so you're going to want to hit the soft cap with both. After that, you're going to want to make sure you have as much endurance as you possibly can, but do not go over 40. You get no returns after 40, so make sure you stop there. What I did was I used the Prisoner's Chain, so I have 35 endurance, 41 vigor, and 15 vitality. So with the 5 levels that I gathered from that ring, I was able to boost my health pool extremely high. I got it to 46 because the weapon itself does trade often, so you're going to want to have a high health pool and a high endurance pool. So I know I mentioned that earlier, I just want to make sure you guys understand that that's pretty important. And with the remainder of my points, I just added some into my attunement because I wanted to have some FP. I'd use the weapon art quite a bit. It's really good with this weapon. And with the remainder after that, I poured it into vitality because it does up your physical absorption and it ups your equip load if you need that. But if you're running the same armor set as me, you don't really. It was mostly for the physical absorption. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. It just goes right off the quality build. There's nothing exceptional about it. Just a high health pool, high stamina pool, and decent damage output. So I'm going to bring you on over to the weapon now. So I am running the Valor Heart because that is kind of the purpose of the build. It has an overall AR of 386, which isn't very high, but it has some unique abilities. Like I mentioned, you're able to stay through a couple attacks and you don't take as much damage as your opponent, so it's kind of worth it. You're able to use whatever you want in your left hand slot. I don't really have anything. And this is the armor I came up with to look like a gladiator. You can do whatever you want. I just thought this looks pretty sick. Just check what I'm using right there. I'll show it all for you guys. And like I mentioned, I am using the Prisoner's Chain. It's kind of a staple ring with my builds lately. And I don't know. I think it's worth it. When you're not using it, it only ups my absorption by 3. So it's not a huge, it's not a big deal at all. I think it's really worth it for 15 levels. I'm using the Life Ring plus 3 because I have a huge health pool, so that furthers that. Got the Chloranthy Ring because this weapon does end up consuming a lot of stamina if you're trading with your opponent. And the Ring of Favor plus 3 because, well, it's one of the best rings. Why would you not wear that ring? But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the build. I hope you enjoyed my Gladiator showcase. And I don't know, I had a lot of fun using this weapon. It's actually pretty exceptional. I never used it a lot beforehand, and I think I may use it more often now. And again, guys, thank you for watching. If you happen to like the video, then like the video. Help a brother out here. And yeah, I hope you enjoy my build.